we need to chat. As the title suggests, I am making this video more geared towards white people because I'm a white person and my audience is mainly white, and I see a lot of white people speaking on the events that are going on today, and I think that I can best use my platform and my knowledge to address those people directly and to try to make an impact in making progress. But this video really can be watched by anyone, and I hope that it's helpful to people who aren't just white. I hope that it's helpful to anyone who is struggling with any of the things that I'm about to address in this video. I just want to start out by saying that I'm making this video with the best of intentions. I am doing this because I think that I have something that could hopefully help. And I know that I don't know everything, and I understand that I will never know everything. And I'm saying these things after lots of listening and lots of learning and lots of thinking, and they're all coming from the best parts of my heart. And so if I do happen to say something in this video that you, especially as a Black person or a person of color, or even if you're white, if you hear me say something that's not entirely correct, or that's insensitive, or that could just be expanded upon, let me know. Let's have those conversations. If I say something that's wrong, tell me, because that's how you learn, and that's what I want to know. So let's sit down. Tell me why I'm wrong. I want to hear you. I want to understand you, and I want to make those changes. Every single day when I wake up, I say, okay, Rachel, what are you going to learn today, and how are you going to be better today? How are you going to be better than you were yesterday? And every night when I go to bed, I say, okay, what did you learn today? How are you better today? Those are ways that I keep myself in check and in line, because I think my number one passion is learning and growing. It's just every day getting better and better and better. And I think that everyone really should have that sort of mindset. Why would you want to be stuck in a bad mindset, stuck in a bad place, and you're not doing anything to help yourself? I think that overall, the goal is for everyone to be the best versions of themselves. You know, the goal as human beings should be to be kind and be understanding and be accepting and be full of knowledge. And I think that we're at a time in this country and in this world where so many people are just stuck in patterns of thinking that shouldn't be occurring, and we're just so full of hate. You know, I get on social media and I scroll, and I've seen so many amazing posts being uplifting, and so many people just being quick to be supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think that's beautiful. And I'm hearing people speak out who I never would have imagined would be speaking out, and that's what we need. We need people to speak up and speak out and call people out for being wrong. That's what we need. But I also see so many negative posts, and so many posts that are just full of hate. When I read them, I can literally feel the anger coming from that person, even if it's just a shared article. And there are so many things that don't align with the things that we're claiming to be. You know, I identify as a Christian. I believe that there's a God, and my God teaches me to love people. 1 Peter 4:8 says, above all else, love one another, because love covers a multitude of sins. So as a person who identifies as a child of God, I think that I was sent to earth just to love and accept people for who they are. And that's what I try to do every single day. And if you identify as a Christian, you should be acting the same way. And if you don't, if you're another religion, I know that tons of other religions encourage the same behavior. They encourage being loving and kind and understanding. But I think regardless of whether you're religious or not, the goal is to be kind, right? And we say all these things. I so often hear people say, you know, I love that person, but I don't agree with them. And it's so frustrating because that I love that person or I love you is so empty, because when you say it and your other words or your actions don't align with it, it literally means nothing. And, you know, love is about making people feel loved. And I bet the way that some of you are acting and making statements, if you were to ask those people, do you feel loved by what I just said, they would say no. And I think that's where we need to start checking ourselves. You know, when I'm doing something that involves another person, when I'm talking, when I'm acting in a certain way, and the goal is to make someone feel loved, if I would ask them that question, do you feel loved by what I'm doing? And the answer is no, then I am in the wrong. And it's my job to fix that. I'm saying all of these things because I think that the underlying problem is in our hearts. The reason that racism is still running rampant in our country is because things aren't right in here and in here. So yes, today I'm talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And through this video, if you're someone who has racist tendencies, whether you recognize them or not, or you're just a flat out racist and you accept that, or maybe you don't, I don't know, this video might be a little hard for you to watch. And that's why I'm making it, because you need to hear these things. And so I want you, as you're watching this, to do a couple things. I want you to, one, listen to understand. So listening to understand does not mean that as I'm speaking, you're preparing your response. You're not listening to respond to me. You're listening to understand the words that I'm saying. And so I know a lot of times when I watch videos or I hear people talk on things that I might be on the opposing side of, or already know that I have a really strong different opinion on, I'm automatically listening to things they're saying and creating a list of things that I need to address when they're finished speaking. I need to have my comebacks ready. I need to have my argument prepared. And that's not what we're doing. I'm making a video, not so that you can come on here and blast everything that I've said. I'm making a video so that you can sit and think on what I said. And, you know, if you still don't agree with me in the end, I did my part, and I'm still gonna keep coming after you, because honestly, when it comes to racism, it's not an argument that I'm willing to agree to disagree on. If you are racist, if you are discriminating against people and oppressing people, you are wrong, and I lose respect for you, and I will stand by that. You know, topics like me saying grapes are my favorite fruit, they're the best fruit, and you say, no, I think apples are the best fruit. Okay, that's fine. That's something we can agree to disagree on. But when it comes to you oppressing a human being because they look different than you, they grew up in a different place than you, they have a different culture than you, they came from a different country than you, because they are different from you, it's not okay. And I'm not tolerating it anymore. So if you are being racist, I'm going to call you out for it. And I'm going to have no regrets on that, because I've been silent for far too long. I will be the first to tell you, I have not always had the mindset that I have now. I have definitely had racist tendencies in the past, and I understand that. And and I hate that. Like, that's embarrassing to say, because I understand now how harmful and how hurtful that is, and how ignorant I was being, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if a video of me singing along to a song that I like and I said the N-word just because I thought it was okay if it didn't end in a hard R and it ended in an A. There are probably videos of me out there like that. And you know, if a screenshot came up of me laughing at a joke that wasn't racist, but definitely had racist tendencies or racist factors into it, I wouldn't be surprised, because those are the things that I did. I don't think I was ever blatantly racist and discriminated against someone because they were a different skin color than me, but I've definitely done things that were insensitive and wrong. And I accept that. I know that I was wrong. And so every day I wake up and I do better. I don't do that anymore because I understand why I was wrong. And that's what I want you to do, is to listen to the things I'm saying. And if I don't directly answer why that's wrong, ask me why that's wrong. That's the thing. So many people think that just because you change your opinion on something, or you become part of something like a movement like Black Lives Matter that you may have been against in the past, or you had no opinion on, that now you have no backbone. I've heard people say that, you know, oh, she's just doing that, she's brainwashed. No, it's not about that. You are allowed to change your opinion, and that does not discredit you in any way. Having no backbone would be if you would tell me something that was opposing to my opinion and I wouldn't question it, and I would just say, okay, I don't understand why you believe that, but you believe it, so I'm gonna go with it. I think that it's so important to understand why you believe what you believe. And if you do a complete 180 because someone has presented you with information that makes you realize, oh my gosh, I'm in the wrong, then that's amazing. It's brave to be able to say, you know, I was wrong and I don't like the way that I acted, because we don't like to see ourselves in that light. So I went off on a little side note, but as I said, as you watch this video, I want for the number one intention to be to listen, to understand. Hear me out. Don't be so quick to argue with me and just be angry because I'm calling you out for things that you've done wrong. The second thing that I want you to do is to be slow to anger, because I know a lot of times when you hear someone talking on something that you completely disagree with and you have a completely different opinion on, you're gonna get mad. You're gonna get mad at some of the things that I'm saying. And that's not going to get us anywhere. That's going to block your learning, that's going to block your understanding, and you're going to miss out on important information. I think the first major point that I want to make is white people, people who are not black, the N-word is not yours to say. You are not allowed to say that word in any form. Whether it ends in a hard R, an A, you're quoting a story, you're singing to a song, you can't say it. It's not yours to say, okay? And I didn't understand that for a long time, and then people told me why that's not my word, and I got it. I got it. Okay, it's not hard to not say that word. Remove it from your vocabulary. It is not difficult. Once I learned that, never said the word again. Wasn't hard, okay? Literally, you're being insensitive, you're being racist, you're being disrespectful by continuing to use that word, and I don't want to hear it from any of you ever again. My second point, which I think is something that somehow we're still missing, and it's probably the most important point, is that Black Lives Matter movement is not hurting any other people. It's not hurting white people, it's not putting white people down. Whatever group you belong to that does not identify as black, it's not degrading you, it's not putting you below. The thing is, black lives are the ones that are in danger right now. They are our focus, because they're the people that need lifted up, because we have acted wrong for so many years. And one really important point that I want to make as I discuss this is the difference between equality and equity. So equality is when you treat, for example, two people exactly the same. So I saw a photograph of this. I'm probably going to put my own spin on it, but it really helped me understand. So I'm going to explain this to you. So say that two men are standing behind a fence and neither of them can see over the fence. One man is 6 foot tall and the other man is 4 foot tall. If each of them are given the same size stool to stand on, and the 6 foot man gets on his and he can see over the fence, but the 4 foot man is 2 feet shorter, so when he gets on his, he can't see over the fence. That would be equality. They were given the exact same things. They have the exact same fence in front of them, the exact same stools, but the 4 foot man is still at a disadvantage. But equity would be giving the 4 foot man a stool that was taller so that he can see over the fence. Do you understand that? Sometimes people, groups of people, need to be given something more because they're at a disadvantage. And the Black Lives Matter movement is about equity, because Black people have been so oppressed and so misunderstood and discriminated against for so long that we have put them at a disadvantage that they should not be at, because they're human beings. And so right now it's about focusing on that group to lift them up and to give them the justice that they rightfully deserve. So Black Lives Matter is not attacking anyone else. I saw someone share a post that said that it was making Black people superior to everyone else. Literally, it's not that. It's literally treating people as they deserve, because we're all human beings, and no matter where we come from, the culture we grow up in, the color in our skin, what we believe in or don't believe in, we are all human beings. We all came from the same place, whether you believe that's from a god or from random matter in the sky, whatever you believe, We're all equal. We all came from the same place. And I don't understand why we can't act like that. So don't let Black Lives Matter offend you. Don't let that prevent you from seeking this change that needs to happen. And that leads me into another point of an argument I've sadly heard. And people are saying that racism isn't real, that it no longer exists. And I don't understand that. Racism is very real and it's very alive, unfortunately. And I know that because I see it and I hear it. And I've personally witnessed it. I've never witnessed it to the extremes that I know that it happens, but I've heard people say the N-word who shouldn't be saying it. And when they're told they shouldn't say it, they have some lame excuse of why they can. And I hear jokes and I hear statements made, and it's all of these things that shows me that it's real. And I also understand that I'm only seeing a tiny fraction of it, and then it goes far beyond racist jokes and saying the N-word when you shouldn't. And that's the problem. And another thing that I think is important to realize, even if you don't witness any of that, you've never heard anyone say the N-word, none of that has ever happened. You have to understand that, as a quote I read somewhere on social media said, just because it's not happening in your world doesn't mean that it's not happening in the world. So you do not get to dismiss racism because you don't see it firsthand or because you're in denial that you're seeing it firsthand. Another point that I want to make is that saying I don't see color is actually really insensitive. And I will admit, I have said that before. I said, I don't care what your skin color is, I'm gonna treat you exactly the same. I don't see color, you know, everyone might as well be blue. Like, you've heard it, we've all heard it, we've probably said it. And that's insensitive because saying that you don't see color means that you don't see the oppression, the discrimination, the injustice happening to Black people. So to be able to recognize that and fight against it and hopefully get rid of it means that you have to recognize who it's happening to and why it's happening and who the people are that are doing it. I also want to add that supporting the Black Lives Matter movement does not mean that you're anti-cop. I know a lot of people think that they have to pick and choose a side, but that's not the case. I do think there are bad cops, and we saw that in the case of George Floyd. And there are bad cops out there, but there are also good cops. There are bad people in every single profession, but it does not invalidate everyone else in that profession. And you will see different varying degrees of people's feelings towards this topic throughout the Black Lives Matter movement, but just because you're supporting it does not mean that you're against cops. And I think that you should understand that this movement is about lifting up a group of people who have been treated wrongfully for a long time. I really see it as a movement of love and respect and positivity, and there's anger in it. People are angry and people are hurt, but I think that we're really just trying to heal with love and compassion. And now's the time for us to be compassionate people and to understand and to not divide one another. You're not picking any type of side except for you're choosing to not be racist. And I know that a lot of you probably aren't on the same page as me yet, and you have a lot of arguments. And I know that a lot of you are focusing on the protests where there's destruction and there's looting and a lot of vandalism. And that's a whole other video, and I would just flat out say I don't think that I have a well-rounded enough opinion and enough knowledge to speak on that and to try and educate you on that. And I think that there are a lot of really great resources and a lot of great people who can help you try to understand why that's happening. And I will say, if we would have listened in the first place, no one would need to be burning down cities. But I know that a lot of you don't even want to listen to any of these things because you're so mad that people are destroying buildings. And I just want to say, I think that that should be one of the last things that you're concerned about right now. I think that if you're a human being who cares about kindness and respect and understanding, then you should be more concerned about the livelihood of these people who are hurting. And you don't get to say that they're not hurting because they are, and they're crying out for help. And it is everyone's job not just white people. No matter what your skin color is, black, white, brown, you should be helping and you should be doing your part. And I think that together, actually united, we can make a change. And so right now, I think it's important to educate yourself. Call yourself out. If you know that you're in the wrong, call yourself out. Accept that you're wrong and do better. If your husband, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your best friend, your neighbor is saying things that are racist, that are insensitive, that are wrong, tell them that. Because at this point, if they don't want to accept that, if they want to be mad at you, let them do that. If some of you get mad at me because I made this video standing up for something that I believe in and something that I think is the most important thing in the world right now, then be mad at me. Do not be in my life if you think that I am a disgrace, because this is what I believe in and this is what I stand for. And I will not agree to disagree on this matter with you. We need to start taking responsibility and we need to start challenging ourselves to do better. Sign petitions, donate money if you can, go to protests. If you don't feel comfortable at protests, if you're worried about your immune system because coronavirus is still a thing, or you're just not there yet, donate supplies to protesters, drop off cases of waters, go home, sign petitions, do things to do better and to help people and to make this situation better. There are so many things that I want to say, and this video is getting very long, and maybe I'll make another one, but I've really been thinking about this video for several days. I wasn't sure if I wanted to post one. I'm someone who's really quick usually to emerge as a leader. It's just who I am naturally, and I'm usually someone who speaks quickly, and I'm also someone who takes time to think. But in this situation, I understand that I will never understand the type of fear and hate and hurt that Black people experience, because I'm a privileged white girl and I recognize that to the fullest extent. And I will never fully understand what they go through on a daily basis. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to speak up because I couldn't fully understand the full picture, and I like to be very well spoken when I do speak on a matter. And then I realized that this is what I do. I'm good at talking, and I think I'm good at communicating with people and getting through to people. And so I feel this is what I can do best to hopefully make an impact. And I think it's very important to listen. You know, I went to my first Black Lives Matter protest earlier this week, and I just listened the whole time. I listened to stories and I watched how people lead, and I just felt what was happening. And I think it was really important for me to do that. And I've listened to people on social media say things, and I've been really inspired. And I do think it's important before you speak that you gather your thoughts, especially in this time where we're so quick to argue and we're so quick to be hateful. And so I just want to encourage you that if you feel like you're someone who can speak out and you're someone who can communicate with people in an efficient way, then do it. Because you might not be able to donate hundreds or thousands of dollars. I know I can't. I donated a little bit of money, but I'm a college student, so I'm not overflowing with money. But I do feel, you know, sharing links, signing petitions, doing all of those things, and speaking and reaching out to people who I know are racist and are struggling with racist tendencies will listen to me because I'm white and I look like them, and they're quicker to trust me. And that's I mean, honestly, that's something you learn in psychology. If someone looks like you, you're more likely to trust them, and that's a whole nother thing. But use the power that you have to make a positive impact. So while you watch this video, as you're thinking about this video, as you're scrolling through social media, as you're having important conversations with people, please just promise me that you will continue to listen to understand, not to respond. And that doesn't mean you can never respond. That just means understand and think before you respond. And don't be so quick to anger. And be kind and be understanding and be willing to admit when you're wrong. So thank you guys so much for listening, and have a great day, and just do better, please.